Hi, this is a quick video to show the new features that we implemented in the BPM modules. We have for coreBOS, we have a very powerful extension, which is the BPM perspective. There is some information around in the blog and some other places. It can be downloaded here in the coreBOS repository. This is the business perspective, process flow perspective. This one here, it's documented. I also documented the new functionality that we have, but I'm going to show you here in the video what we have added. So I implemented here on the opportunities module a very simple business process flow. I installed 4 modules that set up the perspective, and here I created the steps. Basically, when I'm on the opportunity module, if I go from prospecting to qualification, I have a step that permits me to do that. I can also go from prospecting to needs analysis, and from needs analysis I can go back to prospecting just so I can cycle and do the testing. So it's a very simple BPM process. The instructions of how to set that up are in the repository, so you can actually see them. Besides, this has been explained before. I also set up detail view widget so I can get the push status, which is this graph I have here on the right, and it's telling me that on this business opportunity that I'm on, which is in prospecting state, I can go either to go to analysis or to qualification. This go to analysis is the first thing that we implemented. Here we used to have only the next state you could go to. So for example, in this case we have this qualification, which is actually the exact name, as you can see here, of the next step that I can go to. On the other hand, here, instead of having on the other one, instead of having needs analysis, I have go to analysis. And that's the first thing that we implemented. If I come here to the step that takes me from processing to needs analysis, we now have a button here that says a button label. Okay, so I can actually indicate what I want to show. I'll copy that one. Show test. So I can actually put here the label, and if I reload this graph, that step will change to show test. Okay, so now one of the new features is that we can indicate or decide what we want to show in those next boxes there. It also supports another syntax, which was the one that was there, and that I'm going to show you now. We have also added, instead of that view, you can add here in the widget, you can add this show as buttons. So by default, the push along, that the graph that we have there, will show you the mermaid graph, which is nice. But sometimes, and in some situations, you actually want to have, let's add that again. Where are you? On top, and we save. And now if I reload, instead of having this graph that tells me you're on prospecting and you can go to these two, it just shows me buttons with the steps that I can go to. So it's a different view. Basically the same steps, same process, same business logic, but now you have buttons instead of that graph. And in that buttons, now here, as you saw, it does actually change the label. I mean, if I save this without any label, which is like what it usually does, we'll have that needs analysis there. It shows you the default status that you can go to. But we can also have this more advanced syntax where I say, I give it this JSON object. Let's do it this way, probably easier to read. I give it this JSON structure where I say, okay, I want to have this label, which is in this case go to analysis, but I also want to apply this CSS class to the button. So you can actually style your buttons, not only define the label, but also style them in any way you need. So it's nice and kind of good way to, customize the application as usual. The other thing that we have changed is that we have added the possibility to click on this button and not only change the status, which is what it usually does, but also ask for more information. This is an add-on to the BPM perspective, so you have to install it separately. It's not natively. If you install it, if you need it. On the repository, on the project, the organization of coreBOS, you will find two new modules. One is the process info. Exactly. This one is the one that tells you that tells that step that it should show a pop-up to get more information. And then you need the module, which is this one, the module BPM info, where you actually save that information. Okay, so the goal of this thing is when you click on a button to go from one step to the next, you need to show me a pop-up where I will ask you for more information that you need to give me to be able to go from one step to another, from one status to the other, and I have to save that information somewhere. So on one side we have that extra configuration module that tells us what is going to be shown and how that pop-up is going to be operational, and then we have another module where we actually save the information. This module BPM info that we have here is kind of a template. It's actually not the real module that you need. This is a kind of a, it's exactly a template. It shows you the minimum set of fields you have to have on your module BPM info, and it gives you a place to actually add your own fields. Okay, so the logic here would be that if I'm implementing opportunities, a potential business process, then I would get this module BPM info and I would change it to potentials BPM info. I would make some changes in the fields to make it to adapt it to my needs, adding the custom information that I need in my particular business process module, business process step, and then I would configure the information module to use my module, my new module, my potentials BPM info with whatever data I need to capture. Obviously, if you just have one BPM process in your coreBOS install, then you can just use this one. I mean, it really doesn't matter the naming. But if you have various processes and different sets of information, then it could be useful to have to customize even the name and adapt each module to what you need. So in this case, I installed, I have that business process, that BPM here. I have it here. I installed it as is, and I have added here just this. It has basically the reference field and the link to the potential record. In this case, you have to adapt that to whatever module you are actually adapting your information to. I added here a text field just to save some information, and then we have the basic fields that any module has. Then I have the configuration module. The configuration module says it has a type, just some reference information, and it tells me where this module, where is the information that we have to save from that pop-up. And in that pop-up more information screen, we can define what fields we are supposed to show. That's a master detail map I will show you. And we can have a special validation map and a special field dependency map inside that pop-up if necessary. The step can also have that pop-up active or not. And for the moment, that's basically what we have. Could be nice to have this active now that I see it. This active as a validation rule, so you can activate it depending on the user. Anyway, there are some other tricks to do that. So once you install the configuration module, what happens is that it links itself to the step. So if we go back to the step, you see here that I have this new field here, which is a UE type 10, a relation field to the configuration module. So what the BPM perspective is going to do is that if we try to go from prospecting to needs analysis, and I click on that step, it's going to come here to this record, and it's going to check if I have this more information configuration active, selected or not. If I have it selected, it will go to this module, to the step info, and it will see that it has to open a screen with this module inside and these fields configured, and it will show me them. So I have that configured, as you can see, and this needs analysis. I have selected that map, that configuration record, sorry. So if I click on this go to analysis, you will see that I get this pop-up where it shows me the module BPM info module and creation mode, actually edit mode, and I have access to the reference field and the text field. Note that I actually don't have all of the fields, and if we go to the BPM module BPM info, I have some fill time and I have some other fields here. So actually what's happening in this pop-up, if I can find it again, is that we have a restricted set of fields, and I can edit here and I can save. If I save, let me go back here so we can see the whole thing. Notice that I am clicking, let's make this a little smaller. I clicked on this button here, this go to analysis here. Okay, I clicked on this go to analysis on this record, which is in prospecting. And it opened up this screen asking me for more information. I added here some more information, whatever I need, and a number of fields that I have. And when I save, it will save the information that I introduced, but it will also update, as you can see, the record that I was on. So it actually went from prospecting to need analysis. And if we look at this record where I had this ZXZ, if I reload this, I should have now that more information that I added. So basically what I'm trying to say is that now we have, I can click back there, now we have easy standard way of being able to ask for more information and save that on a module if we need to capture some information when we go from one step to the next. It's as easy as installing the BPM step info, which is where I save the information about what I'm supposed to show in that pop-up with, validation maps and the like, and the module that you need to actually save the information. Additionally, actually here on the step, when the step information, that pop-up information configuration module is installed, it actually doesn't save a UE type 10 to the process step info. It really defines a UE type 10 to a process info or to a business map. I do that because that way you can decide which configuration record to show depending on any condition that you want. Okay, so I'm not actually hard coding that this step will always use this configuration record. I mean, if it's a configuration record, then we have the information we need to show in the pop-up. I have all of everything I need. But you can also give me a map, which can be any kind of decision at all. As long as that decision returns a configuration record, we will show a different pop-up depending on what that map decides. So we have a lot of flexibility, not only in the sense of being able to open a pop-up and show whatever information we need to capture, but also we can decide different pop-ups depending on the user, the day of the week, or any other condition that we need. Finally, as a last comment, about the map, the fields that I'm showing in the pop-up are defined in the process step info here on this field map. This one is the one that defines which fields you show. This is a master detail map. I'm just recycling the existing map that we have. I mean, in the end, this is just kind of a master detail relation, actually, between potentials and the more information that you need. So I use the master detail map, and basically what's important here is the detail view and the list view. Here's where I actually define, where is this one? Detail view, okay. Detail view starts, where is this thing? Layout, list view, detail. Okay, the detail view starts here, and I have the BPM info number the BPM info reference, and this CF1302, which is the one that I created, and that's the text field. You have to duplicate these fields both in the detail view and the edit view, and this is where you define exactly what fields will appear inside that pop-up. The validation map and the dependency map are also loaded dynamically and work from there. Okay, one last thing that we implemented now that we were working with this, and it's this one here. If you probably didn't notice because I didn't actually say it, but okay, anyway, what we implemented as additionally, since we were at this module, is the possibility to change the user ID of the record. It happens so frequently that when you implement a BPM process, most of the cases, or many of the cases, the goal is just to change the assigned user. It's so common that we implemented it by default. Okay, basically what we used to do before we had this functionality was that you would create an update workflow task that would change the assigned user when somebody clicks on the button. Okay, and that works, obviously. I mean, there's no problem there, but that's kind of tedious. It's a lot of clicks and relating and maintaining, and so we decided to make that a little easier by directly adding the possibility to change the user ID. So basically what we have here now is this new field. If you select here business map that returns ID, we will automatically update the assigned user for you. Okay, so basically here you can give me the current user, you can make an advanced decision table to decide which is the user the new record should be, the updated record should be assigned to, or you can do any kind of calculation. I made a very simple calculation here, and if we open this map, which I think I have here, yes, that's some group ID. Is just a very simple map that returns a 4. The 4 is actually this group here, this support group. That's the 4, okay? So what's happening here is that when I go from prospecting to needs analysis, this map will be executed, the 4 will be returned, the coreBOS will understand that the BPM step wants me to change the assigned user from whatever it is to the support group, and it will change it on me, which is exactly what happened here. I'm going to edit this one, and I'm going to change this to this user, for example. And I'm going to go again from prospecting to needs analysis. And this step will be triggered, this sum group ID will be calculated, and the BPM process will understand, since it's actually an ID, not a 0 or an empty, it will change this assigned to on me. So if I click here, I get the pop-up again, and if I save, this update not only changes the status, but also changes the support group for me. So that's a nice functionality, makes it kind of easy to do that, very common use case. Additionally, we have this other checkbox here, which asks me if, permits me to define if I want to execute that assignment, that change, before or after the workflows are launched. This is a subtle change, but it's important because if I do it first, then the workflows and the logs are going to see that that record belongs to the new user, not the old one. And if you do it after, all of the workflows will trigger with the previous user. So depending on what you need in the workflows, you should select, before or after. If you need in the middle, okay, if you need to launch some workflows with the existing user and some workflows with the new user, then this is not what you're looking for. In that case, you have to do it like you used to do it. So you actually create as many workflows as you need, you do any tasks that you want before the assignment, you do a workflow task that does the assignment to the new user, and then you finish with any other set of workflows that you need. Okay, so this functionality is only for the case where you just need to update the assigned user, or the associated workflows to this step are not dependent on the fact of who the record is assigned to. Basically that's what that's the new functionality that we have on the step. I'm really nice functionality. I mean, I'm kind of happy and proud of how that turned out, actually, because this is a nice functionality to get that information, and it was relatively easy because we're kind of leveraging all of the magic that coreBOS does all by itself. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching.